Good evening and thanks so much for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith. Governor Asa Hutchinson makes another big announcement in the push to reopen the state of Arkansas. This one is effective immediately. THV 11's Ashley Godwin shares with us how worship services can move back to the pews, and we want to hear from you tonight. Will you feel safe going back to church? Go to thv11.com/vote.
We did learn early on that worship services aren't exempt from COVID-19 transmission.
One of the first coronavirus outbreaks in Arkansas was at a Heber Springs church, which led to quick action from the governor to stop large gatherings of people. Now, churches can open their doors once again.
These are guidelines that are options for them to consider.
Governor Hutchinson laid out recommendations on how churches can reopen, hopefully without creating a spike of transmission. They include keeping a social distance, wearing face masks, no entry if a person is symptomatic, and no touching or shared items. Online services are still strongly encouraged.
We need to be careful to keep our cases going in the right direction, which is a downward or a flat trend. We've got to keep from having a resurgence.
Any congregate setting where people are together, especially if they are in a close space over a long period of time, there's risk of COVID-19 transmission. So the guidance that we've put in this document really is based on everything that we've learned up to this point. And we believe that if places of worship can put these in place faithfully, the risk of COVID-19 transmission is not zero, but it is minimal.
I talked to several churches in central Arkansas, all of them saying they're getting a plan together to make sure their congregants stay safe if they decide to reopen. In Little Rock, Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
Ashley, thank you. Also in today's announcement, rules for other large venues. Outdoor spaces like racetracks, fairgrounds, and sports venues are allowed to open with similar restrictions like face coverings for anyone over the age of 10 and regular cleaning. Indoor venues like movie theaters, auditoriums, and funeral homes can reopen on May 18th, as long as they follow the same general guidance as outdoor venues. Today marked the first day gyms and fitness centers could reopen across Arkansas. But of course, it comes with restrictions. Customers have to answer screening questions before going inside. Sanitation bottles are out everywhere to clean equipment before and after a workout. Smaller class sizes are encouraged, along with keeping a good 12 feet of space between workout equipment.
It's a warm and humid night around the region, but I am watching some showers and storms roll their way into northwestern parts of the state. That's where we expect the best chance of severe weather, and you can see that here on radar with a band of some strong storms that could try to go severe. You see all the lightning happening through Franklin County, Crawford County, moving into Sebastian County. There's a severe thunderstorm warning into Oklahoma. This is primarily a lot of lightning and some heavy rain. If this line holds together, here's a rough timeline. It could be moving into you folks in Russellville around just a little bit after 11 o'clock, Danville maybe around 11:30. There's going to be the opportunity of scattered showers and storms, but the severe weather threat is very low. They have extended that local tornado watch for northwestern parts of Arkansas until midnight. This is also issued with a cold front. That'll bring in less humid air and cooler air. More on that coming up.
Pine Bluff police are investigating the city's 10th homicide of the year. Officers found 38-year-old Elvis Kendall shot inside of a car at 33rd and Hazel around 6 tonight. He later died at the hospital. Police say if you know anything about this crime, they need you to call detectives. Our state prison system is still dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. There are more cases and 4 more deaths tonight from the Cummins unit. THV 11's Marlisa Goldsmith spoke with the mother of one inmate who tested positive and the concerns she has about how the Department of Corrections is handling the situation.
The inmates didn't know who was sick and who wasn't sick.
Arnice Baynard's son, Demetrius Brooks, is one of 869 inmates who tested positive for COVID-19 at the Cummins unit.
His was shortness of breath, feeling pain in his chest.
But her concerns don't stop there. Over the weekend, inmates in one barracks next to her son's became disruptive.
They had started a fire and they were putting out windows.
According to the Department of Corrections, staff used rubber bullets and chemical agents to regain control of the inmates. One inmate received a minor cut, but Baynard believes the incident could have been avoided.
And that's what makes a lot of those guys act out, because they don't have a way to let this pressure off.
Baynard says her son and other inmates are also complaining about lack of proper meals since the outbreak.
They made sandwiches, made bologna sandwiches, and just was tossing them in there to them.
The Department of Corrections says all meals are still meeting nutritional needs, but, quote, deviations are allowed based on kitchen inventories. Director Dexter Payne also says it's taking longer to distribute meals because they have to deliver trays to more than 1,800 inmates.
The inmates there are receiving 3 meals just as they have before. So there's no real change other than the length of time it takes for us to feed those inmates.
Baynard says she receives no updates from Cummins about these issues and just wants them to be more transparent with families.
We want to know, is my child fine? Is he okay? Can you get a message to him?
In Little Rock, Melissa Zigowitz, THV 11 News.
Melissa, thank you. A new model suggests more than 100,000 Americans could lose their lives to the coronavirus by August. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
Vice President Mike Pence on a call with governors said 41 states have released formal reopening plans. But a key coronavirus model, often cited by the White House, significantly increased its death toll projection, now saying more than 134,000 Americans could die of the virus as social distancing measures are eased.
The evolution in each state will depend a lot on just how much mobility bounces back.
Meanwhile, the White House press secretary said today President Trump was first briefed about COVID-19 on January 23rd and said coronavirus was poised to spread globally, but not that deadly for most people. CBS News obtained a U.S. intelligence bulletin that suggests the Chinese government intentionally concealed the severity of the outbreak while the country stockpiled medical supplies.
President Trump has also expressed optimism that a vaccine against the coronavirus could be available by the end of the year, but health experts say there's no guarantee since clinical trials are ongoing.
Maybe it's going to be a vaccine, or maybe it's going to be that this virus will pass. It will go.
Let us pray.
As House members stay away from D.C., senators return to Capitol Hill for the first time in nearly 6 weeks, trying to stay safe.
This deadly coronavirus does not take days off, and so the United States Senate has not either.
This Congress, this Senate, must deliver the people of our country relief.
Congress turned down an offer from the Trump administration for rapid coronavirus testing. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell issued a rare joint statement saying, in part, lawmakers want to keep directing resources to the frontline facilities where they can do the most good the most quickly. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
There's good news for some tonight on the financial side of the pandemic equation. Nearly every kind of business in Arkansas should have an idea of when they can get back to work. THV 11's Rolly Hoyt checks on the aid for businesses and workers.
As the dates for reopening start to arrive, we need to check the scoreboard. There are trillions of dollars being pumped through some very clogged financial arteries. Smaller banks are touting how they've managed to help small business here in the early going. But then the smallest of businesses, individuals and gig workers, they're still waiting.
It's been pretty crazy. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced in my career.
And Chuck Morgan's career has been spent in banking. He leads Reliance Bank, based in Pine Bluff, and he took a break from filing loan applications for the Paycheck Protection Program.
We've done 448 loans so far, about $39 million outstanding. But the most important thing is we've helped over 5,000 employees.
Morgan and his colleagues say they've worked through many of the bottlenecks when the government first put the $350 billion program in place. Now into the second round of small business loans, the demand remains steady.
We're down to really, most of what we're seeing now are sole proprietorships, some of the smaller businesses that really need it.
And that's a sign that those one-person businesses are looking for help because the main aid program for them isn't in place yet.
We continue to make a lot of progress with our UI system, including the pandemic unemployment assistance, new system that has had to be built.
Secretary of Commerce Mike Preston says the site finally goes live Tuesday morning. They need to batten down the hatches as the wave of claims approaches.
This system is built to withstand that challenge, and we think we have a system that's hopefully going to hold up to it.
In Hot Springs, Rolly Hoyt, THV 11 News.
There is a glimmer of hope for the Arkansas football season. During a Zoom call on Monday morning with the university's Board of Trustees, Athletic Director Hunter Yurachek said that there is a plan in place that would allow the season to start as scheduled. The Razorback football team originally scheduled to host the Nevada Wolfpack September 5th. Now, at about 4:30 today, Yurachek tweeted to clarify that this is just a plan. It is not an official decision. This particular plan also calls for the team to arrive in Fayetteville to start practice in mid-July. Yurachek adding that the university has looked at everything from disinfecting the stadium to ensuring social distancing with fans and having employees wear personal protective equipment. Now, there is a lot of time between May the 4th and the start of the football season, so there are a lot of things that could change between now and then. For Yurachek's full statement on the plan, you can find that on my Facebook page or on Twitter. They're both at Dorian Kraft.
Welcome back to my kitchen on this, the 54th day of the COVID siege. And before it comes to a close, I'd just like to say thank you 33,399 times. That's one time for every teacher in the state. Well, it's Teacher Appreciation Week, so you'll understand. Here we go. Wait, before I begin, man, the teachers have really had their worlds turned upside down. Well, we all have, but especially teachers. Think about it. They go to school to go to school. I mean, their whole career is built around being in the classroom in front of students, but the virus has done away with that. And yet, teachers are finding creative ways to stay in touch. For instance, those teachers that I'm talking about that did music videos just to tell the kids how much they love them. Or the art projects in Monticello from one kindergarten teacher who had all the kids create their own pets. Or, oh my gosh, teacher parades, spontaneously breaking out statewide so that teachers can tell kids and show them how much they're missed. And in talking with my contacts at the Department of Ed, they tell me they go one step further. For instance, there are Zoom lunches with kids and teachers, or high school counselors who call high school seniors, working with them to get them into the colleges of their choice, or a teacher just calling a kid just to find out how they're doing, just to stay in touch. But here's the thing, kids miss it too. Conversations with parents reveal a common thread. Kids miss their teachers, they miss their schools, and parents now know how much teachers mean too. This COVID-19 shutdown has brought all that to light, which means we may be having the most heartfelt Teacher Appreciation Week we have ever had in this country. And if you're a teacher watching right now, thank you. Okay, that's one. I've got 33,398 to go. We'll be back.